Let me ask you something straight. When was the last time you truly looked at yourself, not just a quick glance in the mirror while brushing your teeth, but really looked and asked yourself, what do I actually communicate to the world without saying a single word? Because here is the truth most men never hear, and the ones who do hear it often hear it too late. You are being read every single day, before you open your mouth, before you say hello, before you even make eye contact. Your body is already telling a story, and the question is it the story you want told? We decided to find out exactly what that story sounds like to women. Not through guessing, not through assumptions, not through what men think women notice, but through a real direct survey. We asked 847 women, all over the age of 50, one simple and completely honest question. What do you actually notice when you look at a man past 60? Not what you are supposed to notice. Not what sounds polite. What do you genuinely, honestly observe? And the answers that came back were surprising. Some of them were things I expected, but others, and I want to be honest with you here, even I did not see coming. Especially the third one on this list. That one caught me completely off guard, and I think it is going to catch you off guard too. Now, before you start guessing, I want you to pause for just a second. Most men, when they hear a question like this, immediately jump to the obvious answers. Chest, shoulders, height, maybe a full head of hair. And look, those things exist in the conversation. I am not going to pretend they do not. But here is what is fascinating. Here is what the data actually showed. There is one specific detail, one area that nearly 91% of men completely overlook without even realizing they are overlooking it. And women say they can spot it from a distance, not up close, from across a room, from a parking lot, from a queue at the grocery store. And what makes it even more powerful is that this one detail quietly, almost silently communicates how much a man values himself. It is not loud, it is not obvious, but it is felt. And sadly, most men only become aware of it when the opportunity has already passed them by. So today, we are going to go through all 5 of these body areas. We are going to talk about what women genuinely observe, why they observe it, what it says about a man, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it starting today. Because here is the thing I want you to hold on to through this entire conversation. Nothing on this list is about turning back the clock. Nobody is asking you to look 35 again. That is not the goal, and that is not what women in this age group are even looking for. What they are looking for is something far more interesting, far more attainable, and honestly, far more powerful than youth ever was. Let us start with number 5 on the list, and this one is posture. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Posture? Really? That is on the list? And I understand that reaction because posture sounds like something your mother told you about when you were 12 years old. It sounds basic. It sounds almost too simple to matter. But here is what the survey told us, and here is what I want you to sit with for a moment. Around 72% of women, nearly 3 out of every 4 women in this survey, said that posture tells them more about a man's lifestyle than his actual fitness level does. Think about what that means. It means you could have spent 30 years in the gym, you could have arms that fill out a shirt, and if you walk into a room with your shoulders caved forward and your head drooping down toward your chest, those same women will read a completely different story than the one your muscles are trying to tell. Because here is what posture actually communicates. It is not just about your spine. Your spine is just a physical structure. What posture communicates is whether you are still engaged with life, whether you still have somewhere to be, something to do, something worth standing up straight for. Think about the moments when women are observing this. You are stepping out of your car in a parking lot. You are standing in a queue waiting for your coffee. You are walking down the street minding your own business, completely unaware that anything is happening at all. And in those quiet, unguarded moments, your body is answering a question you did not even know was being asked. Is this man still active? Is he still present? Is he still invested in his own life? Or has he quietly, slowly begun to let go? And I have seen this contrast play out so clearly. I have seen men, genuinely impressive men, men with broad shoulders and real physical history behind them. Men who spent years building their bodies, and they walk like all the life has slowly leaked out of them. Head forward, back rounded, eyes aimed at the ground, presence almost apologetic. And then I have seen other men, average build, maybe carrying a little extra weight around the middle. Nothing that would stop anyone in their tracks from a physical standpoint, but they walk upright, chest open, chin level, eyes forward, and those men, those are the ones who get noticed. Those are the ones who draw people in without trying. The difference is not muscle. The difference is not age. The difference is signal. And the signal posture sends is either, I am here and I am alive, or I am just passing through and trying not to be seen. Women pick up on that difference almost instantly. It is one of those things that happens below the level of conscious thought. They are not standing there analyzing your spine angle. They just feel it. They feel whether a man is present or absent, engaged or defeated, still in the game or already checked out. And here is the genuinely good news about posture, because there is very good news here. Posture is not fixed. It is not a life sentence. It is not something you are either born with or not. Posture is a habit. It is a daily practice of small conscious choices. The way you sit at your desk, the way you stand while waiting, the way you walk from your front door to your car. Every single one of those moments is an opportunity. You do not need a trainer. You do not need equipment. You need awareness and intention. And you need to practice it enough times that it becomes automatic. Stand taller, open the chest slightly, bring the chin parallel to the ground. Let your shoulders fall back and down instead of creeping up toward your ears. Do that consistently, and the signal you send to the world changes completely. Now let us talk about number 4. And this one genuinely surprises people when they hear it. Number 4 is your hands. Women in this survey were remarkably consistent on this point. They said, hands reveal truth more than almost anything else on a man's body. And the first reaction most men have when they hear that is strength, right? Size, maybe the firmness of a handshake, but that is not what the women were talking about at all. It is not about size. It is not about grip. It is about condition. It is about maintenance. It is about the small, quiet, everyday details that most men never even think about. Your hands are always visible. Think about that for a moment. They are not hidden under clothing. They are not something you only reveal when you choose to. From the moment you reach across a table to pick up a cup of coffee, to the moment you hand someone change or push a door open or gesture while telling a story, your hands are there, constantly, fully visible. And they carry a tremendous amount of information without you ever having to say a word. Now, women are not naive about aging. They are not sitting there expecting the smooth hands of a 25-year-old. They understand that hands change. Veins become more visible. The skin shifts in texture. Age spots appear. None of that is what they are focused on, because all of that is natural and universal and expected. What stands out, what truly catches attention, is whether or not a man is paying attention to those details at all. Are the nails trimmed and clean? Is the skin reasonably moisturized, or is it cracked and rough in a way that suggests complete neglect? Are there ragged edges, dirt underneath, an overall sense that these hands have not been looked at carefully in months? And here's a nuance I want to make sure I get across, because it is an important one. Calluses are not the enemy here. Hands that show signs of real physical work. Calluses from lifting, from building, from fixing things, from using tools, those can actually be genuinely attractive. They tell a story of capability and activity and real engagement with the physical world. That is different from neglect. There is a distinction between a man whose hands are rough because he works hard and uses them every day, and a man whose hands are rough because he simply never thinks about them at all. And that distinction matters because it connects to something deeper. When women see hands that are genuinely neglected, nails uneven, skin cracked and uncared for, an overall sense that this man has not looked at his own hands with any real attention in a long time. The thought that follows is not just about hands. It is a broader question. If he is not paying attention to this, what else is he not paying attention to? It becomes a window into a man's relationship with himself. His attention to detail, his level of self-respect, his willingness to take care of the things within his control. And that window, as small as it seems, says a great deal. The good news here, just like with posture, is that this is incredibly easy to address. A few minutes once a week, trim the nails, smooth any rough edges, keep the skin in reasonable condition, That is genuinely all it takes to shift what your hands communicate about you. It is one of the highest return investments you can make in terms of how you present yourself to the world. Now we get to number 3, and this is the one I mentioned at the beginning. This is the one that even surprised me. Around 84% of women in this survey rated this area higher than muscle size, higher than chest, higher than arms, and that area is your neck and jawline. Let me take a moment with this one because I think it deserves real attention. When most men think about physical attractiveness, the neck and jawline are not usually the first things that come to mind. We think about the big muscles, the visible strength, but women are looking at something different, and once you understand what they are actually reading when they look at this area, it starts to make complete sense. The neck and jawline for women reflect 3 very specific things: health, discipline, and energy. Not the sharp, angular jawline of a man in his late 20s. Again, women in this age group are not making that comparison, and that is genuinely not what they are looking for. What they are looking for is evidence of effort, evidence of self-control, evidence that a man is paying attention to his own body and his own health and making at least some conscious effort to maintain himself. Because here is what happens over time, and this happens to every man without exception. As we age, fat tends to accumulate under the chin. The skin in the neck area becomes looser. The muscle tone in the neck weakens. This is universal. This is biology. Nobody is immune to it. But what women notice is not whether it is happening, because it happens to everyone. What they notice is whether a man is doing anything about it at all. Some men take small, consistent steps to manage it. They watch their weight, they stay reasonably active, they do not ignore what is happening in the mirror. And other men simply do not engage with it at all. And women can tell the difference. Even modest changes make a visible difference in this area. Losing a relatively small amount of weight can meaningfully improve the definition of the jawline and bring back some shape and structure to the neck. Staying active and hydrated affects skin quality in ways that show clearly in this region. These are not dramatic interventions. They are the cumulative result of consistently making slightly better choices. And the signal they send is powerful, because a man who maintains his jawline and neck area past 60 is communicating without saying anything that he still cares, that he is still paying attention, that he has not given himself permission to simply stop trying, and that, it turns out, is extraordinarily attractive to women in this age group. Not perfection, not youth, not the absence of aging, simply the presence of effort, the visible evidence that a man looks in the mirror and sees something worth taking care of. Now let us talk about number 2, and this one also catches men off guard because it is so specific. Number 2 is your forearms, and I want to explain why this one matters so much, because it is not immediately obvious. Most men, when they think about training, when they think about the parts of the body they want to build or maintain, they think about the chest, the biceps, the shoulders, maybe the back. The forearms are almost always an afterthought. They are the area that gets exercised incidentally as a byproduct of working everything else. Very few men ever think about forearms specifically. And yet, in everyday life, forearms are one of the most consistently visible parts of a man's body. Think about the moments when your forearms are actually seen. Every time you roll up your sleeves, every time you reach across a counter or lift something or carry bags. Every time you open a door or shake a hand or gesture during a conversation with a short-sleeve shirt on, your forearms are constantly visible in a way that your chest and biceps simply are not. And women notice them more than most men realize. But here is the deeper reason forearms resonate with women, and it goes beyond just the visual. Forearms are associated with usefulness, with capability, with the kind of practical, real-world strength that actually means something in daily life. When a woman sees strong, capable forearms on a man past 60, the thought it triggers is not gym vanity. It is not performative strength for the sake of appearance. It is something more grounded than that. It suggests this man can handle things, he can carry things, he can fix things, he can do things. He is still physically capable and engaged with the physical world in a real and practical way. And the beautiful thing about building forearm strength is that it does not require complicated programming or expensive equipment or hours in a gym. Forearm strength comes from use. Carry the groceries instead of letting someone else do it. Do physical work with your hands when the opportunity arises. Use grip-demanding tools. Stay active in ways that require you to actually hold and move and manipulate things in the real world. The forearms respond to real-life effort in a way that few other muscle groups do, and the results are visible in the exact moments when women are actually looking. Which brings us finally to number 1, the most powerful of the 5, the one that sits above all the others on this list. And it is your eyes and your overall expression. Now I know that might sound almost too abstract at first, too philosophical. We have been talking about specific body parts and specific physical details, and now we are talking about eyes and expression. But stay with me here, because this is where everything else on this list actually comes from. This is the root of all of it. Your eyes and your expression are the single most powerful communicators of self-respect. Not confidence in the loud, performative, trying too hard sense of the word, but genuine, quiet, grounded self-respect. The kind that comes from a man who knows who he is, knows what he has been through, knows what he has built and lost and rebuilt, and has made peace with all of it while still choosing to show up fully. Women in this survey described it in different ways, but the core message was consistent. Eyes that are alive, an expression that suggests awareness and presence and intention. The sense that when you walk into a room, you are actually there mentally, emotionally, energetically present, and not just physically occupying space while your mind is somewhere else entirely. That quality, more than any muscle or any feature or any physical detail, is what women say they notice most powerfully in a man past 60. Because think about what eyes actually reveal. You cannot fake what lives in your eyes over any sustained period of time. You cannot manufacture that quality of presence. It comes from the way you are actually living, from whether you have purpose, from whether you have things you care about and are actively pursuing, from whether you still feel like your life has forward momentum, or whether you have settled into a kind of quiet waiting. And women feel all of that when they look at a man's eyes and expression. They feel it before they have processed it consciously. It lands before any analysis begins. And here is what I want you to hear clearly as we come toward the end of this conversation. You may be listening to all of this and feeling a quiet doubt creeping in. A voice that says, "It is too late for me." These things apply to men in their 40s, maybe. But past 60, past 65, what is the point of starting now? And I want to challenge that voice directly because it is not telling you the truth. In fact, and I mean this genuinely, this stage of life might be the most powerful time of all to invest in these things. Not because aging reverses, it does not, but because you carry something now that no younger man can manufacture. You carry experience, you carry depth. You carry the kind of wisdom that only comes from actually having lived through things, navigated things, survived things. That is not a small thing, that is an enormous thing. And when that depth and wisdom is combined with a man who still takes care of himself, who still stands straight and moves with intention, who still looks after the details and shows up with alive, present eyes, that combination is genuinely, powerfully compelling to women in this age group in a way that youth alone simply cannot replicate. Most men stop at this age. That is the honest truth. Most men reach a certain point and decide, consciously or unconsciously, that maintenance is no longer worth the effort, that the chapter of presenting themselves well is more or less closed. And when you decide not to stop, when you decide that you are still worth the effort, that your appearance and your energy and your presence still deserve your attention and your care, that decision shows. It shows in your posture, it shows in your hands, it shows in your jawline and your forearms, and most powerfully of all, it shows in your eyes. So start small. Pick one thing from this list and begin today. Stand a little taller the next time you walk to your car. Trim your nails this week and put some moisturizer on your hands. Take a walk. Carry something. Roll up your sleeves and do some work. Look at yourself in the mirror, not with criticism but with intention. Ask yourself what story your body is currently telling. And ask yourself whether that is the story you want told. Because age truly is just a number. It is a fact of time, not a verdict on value. What lasts, what actually endures and communicates across every year and every decade, is discipline and self-respect. When you improve your posture and care for your hands and maintain your jawline and build your forearms and show up with alive, present, intentional eyes, you are not pretending to be younger than you are. You are doing something far more powerful than that. You are showing the world exactly who you are. A man who values himself. A man who is still here, still engaged, still fully in the game. And that, more than anything else, is what truly gets noticed.